Star Trek: The Next Generation was a show. Star Trek: The Next Generation. Everybody I interacted with. A show that I started watching when I was a really little kid. Can you believe it's been 30 years? Star Trek: The Next Generation first.
Star Trek: The Next Generation was my life.
I really grew up with this show.
My relationship to how I should conduct myself. It was the escape from reality. Welcome to Next Generation's First Generation, where Patrick Delmore and Sascha Schaudies take a look back into their favorite childhood show, Star Trek: The Next Generation. This is where we attempt to reconcile how we felt as children watching the show and looking back as old farts now in our late 30s, almost 40s. Guests, social commentary, and good old-fashioned shade-throwing on our favorite and least favorite episodes. Here comes Patrick and Sascha. Hello and welcome to the final episode of Season 2 in Next Generation's First Generation. Oh.
Yeah, new couch. Yeah, Kentley Studios, where we record this, has had a massive overhaul. The futon that we used to sit on to record this broke during a particularly exciting moment of Game of Thrones. I won't say who broke it, but don't worry, they're not actually here on the mic, so we're not embarrassing anybody. But you have heard them on the show. If you guess who it was correctly, we will give you a shout out.
Ooh, or we could do another jelly bean challenge.
Yes!
That would be great. Okay, so today we'll be covering the Dumpster Fire episode, otherwise known as Shades of Grey. In fact, this episode was so bad, Maurice Hurley called it a piece of shit. So, this right here is famously known as the Clip Show. Long story short, they ran out of money for the season and they needed to cobble something together in 3 days, I think it was something like that. So, this watch-along podcast, so cue up your microfiche or Betamax or old-timey reel-to-reel projector. We're going to give you the countdown on 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 and press go. So, without any further ado, here's the countdown. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1.
Away we go.
Ooh, the creepy music.
Yes, but as you can tell, it's recycled creepy music. We've heard this theme before.
Now, I really like this planet. This is kind of cool.
Oh, it opens great. There's nothing wrong with the opening, but all that I watched was the first 15 minutes of this, and I decided I would just react in real time to all of Riker's flashbacks. So Riker got stuck with something, and Geordi's checking it out.
Brian, Commander Riker's been injured.
I remember watching this and thought it was so cool that they made a creek on the set. That was just like, whoa, neat.
Can't take any chances. With the first circumstances they put on this planet, we don't know what.
This is so muddy and grainy on the DVD. They really cleaned it up for the HD.
Mm-hmm.
The transporters.
We have a friend that I would like to get on the show who considers Chief O'Brien to be the worst thing that ever happened to Star Trek.
Really?
Yeah, I would really like to talk to her on this podcast. She's on.
What's the premise behind that?
I don't know. I just saw her posted on Star Trek. She is a frequent guest on 24 Flames Per Second, which is a
I better go down and
movie review show here based out of Seattle. And then she also is part of the Hello Earth theatrical group where I have done a couple of Star Wars shows with them. Right now we're reversing Empire in the park.
As much as I love comical transporters.
But she always plays Luke in those shows and always plays Kirk in...
Okay. I know this person. I've seen her perform. So this is really interesting. This is the second time that Pulaski's gone through the transporter.
Yeah, kind of borrowing from McCoy. The Doctor hates the transporter. It makes sense that a doctor would hate a transporter.
Over here, doctor.
Out of all the medical staff, she has to go. Why can't they call the technician on duty or the doctor on duty?
Walking along, minding my own business.
And then they
I love
the executive.
You were minding your own business, Commander? You weren't on duty? What was that? Presumably they were on this planet for a reason, but they don't ever say why.
It left something behind.
Yeah, no doubt. Very minimal cast. Mr. O'Brien is the only guest star, so Cole Meany.
Medical override is authorized.
If you notice, this is going to be a very staff-light episode, so you're not going to see too many people walking around.
Well,
except for these two guys.
This is the strangest feeling. My whole leg just went dead.
He's pretty chill about that.
I bet you he's really drunk right now.
Now, it's funny, we've been told like a lot of the stuff that Geordi's visor can and can't do.
Yeah.
And I don't wonder that they couldn't have just built a tricorder into his visor. So he could tell when people are lying. He could see that there was something in the wound that Riker had. But they still had to have Pulaski come down for medical tricorder.
Well, maybe if it wasn't covered by Space Medicare. They said, sorry, we're only going to pay for the basic lie detection model. We're not going to throw in the medical tricorder version. Well, we see you're an engineer, so we'll give you the engineering version of this.
I would have liked to, and it could still happen on Discovery, I guess, have seen like some other prototypes for visors or things that we had a hearing impaired episode where you used these other people. DS9 had, and I actually think other shows had the bone density problem being corrected.
Oh yep, that's correct.
We haven't seen really anything for not being able to speak.
We could have seen more cyborgs. I would have loved to see more cyborgs.
Well, we saw a cyborg very prominently featured in the last season of Discovery.
Oh, and you had Quark complaining about how expensive eyes were in the Darts episode. So we talked right over the opening credits. This came out in July 17th, 1989. So your firework burns and injuries are still healing from July 4th. My heart goes out to you, my fellow pyromaniacs. Ron Jones did the music on this episode. Teleplay was Maurice Hurley, Richard Manning, and Hans Himmler. And this was directed by Rob Bowman. And actually, we have two guest stars. I don't know if we ever mentioned this or not, but Dr. Pulaski was never part of the cast. She was always a guest this season. And then the other
guest she was, but this is her swan song. This is Goodbye, Dr. Pulaski. Although sadly, it's not set up for that. She is, as we've mentioned, as of May 17th, 2019. Diana Mulder still very much alive. She and Patrick Stewart are about the same age, so it would be very interesting to see if she showed up on Star Trek Picard.
That would be interesting, yeah.
But the organisms are impeding nervous function.
So Riker got stuck by a bacteria thorn on Mystery Planet for no known reason.
The infection.
They beamed up. We're talking serious doctor talk of there's something wrong. We can't fix it. And he could die. The television plot motivator, death.
How can I help?
Well, if you'd like to donate your entire lymphatic system, Picard, you can help by...
He'd do it. You know what's messed up is if she suggested it, he'd do it.
Yeah? You think you would?
Yeah. I think that without question, Picard would risk his life to save his first officer. He would risk his life to save any one of his officers.
I'll watch for our step.
Well, he must have not had a lot of opportunities because he's really old. Sorry, bad joke. So, I got a question here. You got Geordi and Data here in the transporter room discussing, we're going to beam down, but why? Well, they're going to look for what stuck Riker. Wouldn't that be kind of unsafe for Geordi to beam down looking for the mystery sticky thing?
And that's what Data says. But, again, with this visor... Geordi's visor is able to see better what they're looking for than Data's bionic eyes are.
Yeah, but they could have given some Kevlar or a personal
They absolutely
force
could have,
field.
but they were more concerned with the stupid Velcro attachments for their phasers.
And they're walking through, like, who just walk in the middle of a creek like that voluntarily unless they were prompted to by camera? If you beamed down, you would, like, look for ways to walk around the edge of that creek.
It'd be funny if there was just an old prospector alien on that planet. He's just green with a big, blue beard. Whoa! Wandering into this creek is the best way to get space leeches!
Space leeches! I heard they make some awfully good moonshine!
Maybe it likes humans more than androids. If you're correct.
Yeah, so touch it, Jordy. It likes humans way better than androids. That's kind of cool. So they found the magic creeper vine. And
by the way, Matt's here.
Hey, Matt!
There's like 8 people in this room.
There's 8 people. There are only 2 voices. Your left ear and Pat's right ear.
They should have had, because they're trying to get away from there so quick with Jordy, yelling "energize" the minute they get it. They should have had the vine go nuts once they pulled it off and grow like 12 more of them. And,
that would have been
be
great.
thrashing around.
So, did they determine is this a vine or an animal?
It's like, is this a vine?
It's a vine.
Like a Venus flytrap, probably.
I got
But
you.
my thing is so they've got a potentially poisonous thing, and what does he do? They beam up with it while he's holding it with tweezers.
Yeah.
Not going to put it in a specimen jar or even a bag. I'm just going to take my Starfleet issue tweezers and hold it. And then when Captain Picard walks into him, I'm just going to go, look! And stick it out.
I wonder if those tweezers have a Federation sticker on them, like this thing that they're going to probe Riker's head with. It's got all these buttons, and it's got a big sticker with the Federation insignia on it.
But, it's like, oh, damn it, Ensign Ricky and his label maker down there at Supply again. But, no, you don't see, going back to what you're saying, is you don't see away teams carrying tactical gear until you get to Discovery.
Yeah.
They have those tactical vests with pockets and stuff. And
all they ever have is a scanning device and a weapon, and that's it. They always beam down in their pajamas.
Yeah, and you gotta wonder where Geordi got those tweezers from.
Well, this goes into a larger
Nature's
conversation.
Pocket,
yeah.
I was gonna say his Swiss Army visor. Look,
I can
open a bottle for O'Brien with this side. And
I can kill it.
So there's a gentleman that
without
does some of our
destroying
art. His name is David Clawwetter, and he has his own YouTube channel on Star Trek stuff. And his argument about this era right now in the Federation is that there's too focused on comfort and luxury that they're kind of getting away from the necessity of, we need to survive out here. And even though the ship's really comfortable, people are being sent into these situations under-equipped, and they don't have enough gear to survive the simplest things.
So two points. They don't know what's attacking Riker, but they know that they can kill it. Like that's what they want to do. They don't want to. They don't want to study it. They just want to kill it. Which is a little bit strange because it's like, again, it's the prioritization of one life form over another.
Right.
Where what if it was those creatures from the mining planet that got inside of it? They later learned could talk.
Oh yeah.
And
what if it was a sentient being living in his leg?
Again, there's a great red dwarf that came out. That red dwarf came out after this episode as one of the latter-day red dwarfs. Yeah, where they're talking to the virus.
Or what about the Futurama superworms?
Yep.
You remember those? My ancestor came over on the sandwich.
And thing two, they just basically have Riker laid out on a stretcher in the middle of sick bay.
Mm-hmm. Well, it's an operating table there.
an examination table.
Yeah.
Yeah, it can be both.
But where would you have put him, Patrick?
You know, off in a corner or somewhere more comfortable than where he is.
But so they've always, the way the sick bay is designed, or at least the way I've read the way it's designed, is that's the main examination area, so that's where most of the diagnostic equipment is.
What can I do?
The rest of the equipment would basically just monitor his blood pressure and his heart rate.
Aye, Doc.
And so they have like a surgical suite. They have looks like a diagnostic examination area, which is in the center. And then they have individual beds for people who are just kind of gold bricking.
Well, for a long time, it was also doubled as the set for the observation lounge, too.
I like this magic wand tricorder this guy is using.
Yeah, we never see it again.
My great-grandfather once got bit by a rattlesnake. After 3 days...
He got bit by a one-eyed snake.
Snake died.
Huh. So your grandfather was Chuck Norris?
Yep, pretty much. Did he say his great-grandfather?
Yeah.
So that means that's his dad's dad's dad.
Quite an effort to be cheerful.
That's all right.
Yeah.
You of all people should know.
Chuck Norris.
You feel what anyone in your position would feel.
You're not
As
special.
the first officer on this ship, I have to set an example.
Yeah, so as you said that Maurice Hurley just absolutely hated the episode. And they basically did this as an attempt to save money. They blew their cash money on Q-Who and also Elementary Dear Data, which were pretty high production episodes. I can definitely see Elementary Dear Data because they had to recreate everything. They had to build or rent all these turn of the century, 18th century England sets, whereas Q-Who, they had to design an entirely new ship. With the Borg cube.
I'm wondering if this is the last time she says Imzadi to him.
I think so.
No, she says it a couple other times. Several times.
Oh, and
Peter David wrote a novel about their relationship called Imzadi that I've never read, but I would like to.
He did two.
It spread to the spinal column.
Imzadi and Imzadi 2.
It's weakening his...
No, she'll refer to it again when they're talking about, in the episode called The Price.
Present rate of growth.
Where she meets the other Betazoid negotiator, and then she refers to it again when they're kidnapped by the Ferengi, her and her mother.
Yeah, that's right. I forgot about that one. It's kind of weird because the relationship kind of... There a lot of only a few peaks and a lot of alleys where they just kind of remind us once every couple of years that they're into each other, and then they separate and do their own thing.
There was a big wish, and they never followed through on it, but I've talked on this show about how there was the column in the Seattle PI about Star Trek, kind of being able to look stuff up on the internet.
Mm-hmm.
When the movie First Contact was coming out, the last we saw... Worf, he had just started to date Jadzia Dax, and we hadn't seen what had happened with his relationship with Troy. And everybody was like, well, they're going to have to cover that in the movie. Yeah, and of course, they didn't at all.
No, completely ignored it. They just said, oh, they got married.
No, the marriage thing didn't happen until... they didn't start talking... they didn't say Riker and Troy were back together until...
the Dominion War one, where they were on
Insurrection.
Yeah. This device really freaked me out as a kid.
It should freak you out.
It's the magic needles to the skull thing. Immediately reminds me of Up the Long Ladder, where they went to the cloning clinic. Don't hit the logo.
There's your big sticker.
That's a big sticker, yeah.
If it were to have any type of logo, it would have the Federation logo, because it's a Federation medical equipment thing.
Or even that, it would be, like the two snakes around a staff, the caduceus or whatever you call it.
Caduceus? Yeah, a medical icon, not a... Well, that's essentially stamping United States Navy on everything.
Here we go. A planet with crystals and weird trees. It must be the last outpost.
Oh, we did this so long ago, Patrick.
Yeah. Long time ago, longer now than the sea.
I was thinking about what you're saying, Matt, about the logo. And if this was the original series, it would make more sense to put the ship logo on that piece of medical equipment, so we know, hey, that belongs to the Enterprise. So when they go to port and equipment starts leaving the ship...
That's what serial number is more for. Like I said, I would call it, put it a Federation, it's a Federation medical thing. Because you wouldn't let a civilian colony then have a Starfleet medical thing, but you would give medical equipment out, when they say we're transferring medical supplies and equipment, you'd have a Federation logo. It would be like the United States, you put the U.S. flag on things, but you don't put the U.S. Army logo on there, you know.
Well, you might.
No, it's like when we give for refugee camps, they all have usually the United Nations flag or seal on there. But you know, like I said, you don't have 3rd Army Battalion or whatever on there or something, or it's just it seems weird.
So here's a question I'm going to propose to you guys. This is going to be a clip show, so that means they have to pick clips that are very deliberate. And the first clip that they showed was from The Last Outpost.
With him wandering around.
Lonely. Is anybody out there?
It's getting harder and harder to breathe, yeah.
Right?
Tough.
So my question is, if we're going to see a pattern to the types of memories that he has. And of course, spoiler, yes, the better the feelings of love and happiness kind of save the day. This is a Love Conquers All episode.
Yeah, here's the very first episode of the show.
Wow.
He goes into a holodeck for the first time. Somewhat inconsistent about how and when holodecks started.
That holodeck scene right there seems way more realistic than any other holodeck scene we've seen since.
Yeah.
Because, well, they filmed outside, obviously. Well, they blue screened that, but they do cut to them being on location. Oh, this is where we meet Data.
Yeah.
Hello?
Look at that obvious wall in the background there.
Yeah.
Do you see it?
Yeah. It's all again him wandering around and calling out names.
So, how do you think Riker has progressed in his relationship to Data in these 2 years?
We haven't, other than Measure of a Band, we haven't seen a whole lot. I mean, it's better than it was. I mean, this is going to be, the guy that's immediately junior to him. But he's just like, oh, is that just an honorary thing?
Yeah, he's gotten over that racism for all intents and purposes. Would you say that he just accepted him who he is and moved on?
I don't know. I think he'll still take any opportunity to make fun of Data.
I still need much practice.
I think
There's some puzzles down
I think he would laugh at a lot of things that Data goes through that Geordi would
down on the
not laugh
planet.
at.
The captain once answered. He suggested I
Wesley would not laugh at either, unless he saw Riker laughing, and then Wesley would feel like he was obligated to laugh.
Oh, well, we covered an episode where he was teasing a blind man teaching a robot how to paint.
Yeah.
If you're, we hit that episode.
Yes, we did.
Yeah.
A wise procedure, sir, always.
Yeah, Geordi, of everybody there, Geordi sees him
Starfleet class of 78
as the most as a human or an equal. Probably followed by Picard.
Does that trouble you?
And Picard's more of the...
Little. Understood, sir.
It doesn't matter if I see him as an equal, he deserves... It's more of a... I'm protecting the notion that he's an intelligent life form, more than if I really see him that, and then...
To be human.
I would say, yeah, Riker's like midway or towards the bottom of the list. He's one of those, well, he's like my favorite Game Boy.
Oh,
yeah.
geez.
I enjoy him, but I don't...
Interesting companion, Mr. Data.
It's weird that they pick this clip, because it has... I mean, if they were really developing character, it would be Riker going like, yeah, I feel guilty because I was treating Data that way when we met.
Well,
I need your help.
Was it
This
a
is a
touching
great
moment,
scene.
or was it a touching moment they're looking for, or a shameful moment they're looking for?
I don't think it was anything. I think they were just grabbing clips of Jonathan Frakes willy-nilly.
Yeah.
But this is a great...
Something like this.
Probably one of the best.
Here,
For a non-plot driven conversation, this is pretty good filler material. So, if you are not watching along, in this clip, Guinan, Wesley, and Riker are on 10 forward, and Riker is teaching Wesley a thing or two about hitting on women.
Of me? Of us, of what we might become.
Commander?
Or that you might think that was a lie.
I remember how this made Jem laugh hysterically when she watched
I didn't
this.
say that. There's nothing wrong with the line. It's like a
Where is Jem?
knock at the door.
Jem is at work,
I'm not sending you away.
wah,
That's more
wah,
than I
working
expected.
hard in the
As much
stacks.
as you hoped.
To hope is to recognize the possibility. I had only dreams,
Dreams can be dangerous.
not these dreams. I dream
Oh,
of a galaxy.
this is a
with
dream of a
stars,
dream.
Yeah.
And the universe worships the night.
Careful.
Here's the thing. It's like if this was done well, it was like
Then I'll learn how
if
to
this was
fly.
done well, they would be able to like
You're the heart
incorporate
in my
Guinan being like,
and the soul in my
it's like, yeah, I remember this
I
too. It
think
was
this is
fun,
my
but you
style.
got to wake up. You got to shift to command.
Yeah, you know, if each scene was a remake of the scene, but it was slightly different, kind of like when you go to school, but it's your sister's school or something like in your
Yeah.
dream. Everything's familiar but different.
But here's the thing: is they're gonna run with this whole let's mess with Riker every season,
Working with you,
Oh yeah, frame
And
of
then
mind. They did it the
come,
best there.
Mutual counselor.
and then come
I'm supposed to know how everyone
what's
feels.
it? Deep Space Nine.
Can't
It's
read
the
you
mess
right
with O'Brien
Yeah,
episode.
the O'Brien must suffer.
Yeah.
Yeah. I believe this clip here, they're in Deanna's office, and he's talking about getting his command. So this is the Icarus factor, I believe.
Yes.
Our feelings.
Hey,
are
look at me, I've
resolved.
got a good memory.
Sure do.
So much lip gloss. Look at that. It's like 2 different colors. You made a very interesting comment before we started recording, Pat, that, you know, you take actresses like Marina Sirtis. She looks so much better when she, you know, is out of costume and out of makeup and just kind of is natural.
Yeah, I mean, she was, I think, subject to the whims of Gene Roddenberry at the time. I think she really became herself in, not until Star Trek First Contact. I feel like we're seeing, you know, who Marina Sirtis believes that character to be. But thankfully, we got to see that at that character at the end of Voyager too, be more
That's right.
herself. So,
Well, the actress is much more comfortable with the character too.
yep. She was not given a lot to work with.
And then also there, if you listen to previous episode interviews, she was kind of guilt tripped about image issues quite a bit.
Well, considering that they hired, what's her name, the lady that played Sonia Gomez,
Right.
and then fired her because she got a haircut.
That's gotta make you edgy. So here, this scene is on the Nympho planet.
It's on the
What's the name of this one?
it's on the Moose Knuckle. It's where it's on.
The Moose Knuckles? Oh, jeez. Oh, there's Minuet. That's in the Binar episode.
And she does come back to the show in one of my absolute favorite episodes, which I think is next season. I can't think of the name of it.
That was also a Mess with Riker
Yeah.
episode.
Yeah.
You've got a gift for us.
So would you say the Binar episode was the season 1 Mess with Riker episode?
This one, the Binars.
Yeah, that was season 1?
Yeah, this was a flawed masterpiece. It could have been a lot better with a lot less exposition. Could have been very creepy.
Waiting for me. You can't be serious.
Oh, yes, Will.
Will's got a raging tromboner right now.
Something wrong?
No,
It's just
Deanna's
that
just a
kind
little
of
comfortable
emotions
because
are-
she's peeking into his
and
mind
passion.
while he's thinking about
As in
a
erotic?
sexy time.
Huh.
That could be a little uncomfortable for anybody.
Why would you ask her that as in erotic?
Is that what she
Like,
said?
yeah,
I
what
missed
you
that.
know, like
Blast
passionate, you know, it's just like, really? As in erotic?
Erotic!
No.
And they just cut to Picard on the bridge with his eyebrows raised like all the way over the top of his forehead.
His eyebrows are
Erotic?
raised so high they fall back the side of his
Erotic?
head.
Commander Riker? T.L. Grey cold! Ho ho ho!
Thank you.
How far can this relationship go?
This was a really good question.
To the moon and back.
So the past 4 clips we've seen all cover actually all the clips we've seen cover different types of relationships.
Yeah.
From going alone to meeting someone awkwardly to hanging out with your crew to meeting the love of your life and breaking up with her. That's the Deanna Troi in the episode, in the Office episode. Now we're going into the
Yes, I find you.
expositions. So the minuets, the sex planet, the this right here,
the strong women planet.
Yeah,
this is how Betsy DeVos got her job. No.
Wow. Jeez. So this episode here with the strong women, that could have been redone really well.
Yes, it could have.
And then here's Up the Long Ladder, which is just an entire episode.
So recent that as of this recording, we have not released that episode yet.
It'll actually be coming out in a week if we're doing the weird time travel thing.
Yeah.
But that whole episode is about sexual procurement. That just really bugs
I
the heck
had to
out
watch Up the Long Ladder 4 times this year because of how the recording worked out.
Oh, it was such a bad recording.
Yeah.
Well, the final one was perfect, but
yes,
it's just there is so much material to cover in these that. Oh, look at this, Pat! We're turning into a reminisce episode.
We are.
Holy smokes! Well, it's been about 2 years on this journey.
It has indeed.
Wow.
Started in 2017. Here it is, 2019.
So if you had all those pokey antenna things, would you feel a little uncomfortable?
Oh yeah.
As the actor.
I couldn't take it for more than a few seconds. They'd be like, all right, we need to cut. We need to cut. Because I'd have the unbearable urge to need to scratch my nose or something.
Or if he sneezed and moved his head, he'd gouge an eye.
Pretty much.
Now we know the organism's growth rate is related to.
She says organism a lot in this episode, and unfortunately, because of how I read, I always see it as orgasm, and I'm like, wait, what'd she say? No.
The organisms are sensitive.
That's kind of what she's got on the brain.
Brain endorphins.
Then, if some types of
so they've cracked the
He's immobilized, so you can do anything erotic that you want.
Erotic?
Riker always feels good about himself. How do we make him feel bad? And he's cut to, what's his name? Kyle Riker getting into an old pickup truck. I'm just going to get cigarettes. I'll be right back.
Oh no! This episode. This is where Tasha dies. Well, in modern TV, they wouldn't do a clip show. What they would do if they needed a clip show is they would recreate the scenes with different angles.
I love they showed as little as possible of Beverly Crusher too. Forget her. She's not coming back.
You think? Now, did they know that Crusher is coming back?
They did not.
At the end of this?
They did not.
Well, I really want to get into why she came back. Or why she left.
They didn't think she was that popular of a character.
No, she wasn't.
And but people did not like Diane Mulder, and she did not get along with the cast. So.
Really?
Yeah.
I'm losing life signs.
Oh, death. Okay, so that's the theme now. Death and suffering.
And that's a weird cut, is to have, you know what Riker should think about? Exactly what we're doing right now.
Doing it.
Because here it cuts it cuts to Pulaski and Troy fretting over a body.
Oh my goodness. This was another good episode, so now they are the child. First episode of season 1, it was poorly... Season 2. Poorly executed, great idea. I love the idea where someone wants to learn, so they decide to integrate themselves into the society.
Yeah.
But at a cost of me having to watch such a terrible episode.
It's definitely slowed. What is he feeling? Can you tell?
Sadness.
Remember that kid I had?
Yeah.
What was his
name? Effect on the infection.
Then your theory's correct.
Stretch Armstrong.
Stretch Armstrong. Dr. Pulaski, you remember Stretch? Yeah. Oh, yes. We thought we wouldn't talk about him anymore.
Such as sadness.
Produce endorphins that inhibit the organism's growth.
So they crack the code. If we can get Will to feel certain things, the organism will either survive, thrive, or die. So we need to find out what kind of emotions he needs to feel in order to beat this thing.
I must refocus the pattern again. We need to isolate memories that generate stronger negative emotions.
Ooh, they gotta make him angry now. Yeah. So start dripping water on his nose.
I was gonna say, yeah. Shave his beard with a rusty razor.
Give him swamp butt. I know that makes me angry. Oh, they just swap. They just
ask you again.
Flashed into the Klingon episode, another good one, where he's the first officer.
Yeah.
I've been assigned to serve this ship.
That's where he
obey
is.
your orders, and I will do exactly
He's
that.
struck with the paradox of loyalty, divided loyalties.
Yep.
What does he do with them? How does he dispose of them?
Speak English, damn you!
It's awfully nice of them to closed caption the Klingon
Is there
as
something you
well.
wanted to say to me, Lieutenant?
Your hair smells like, how do you say, butterflies.
I like that they have the universal translator, but it's
Then I
still
take it you challenge
it's
my
still
authority.
weird that all of Starfleet business is conducted in English. Because I
And your
guarantee
position
you
on this,
in
Captain?
23rd century, that's not going to be the most commonly spoken language by humans.
Well, you're not that far off the mark. Look at what they tried to do with Dragonfly. Or not Dragonfly, Firefly.
Yeah, that makes a lot more sense for the people who are speaking Chinese.
Blended Chinese. But it still has to make for good TV.
Well, I mean, we would hear it as English because just like them, they're all hearing it the same way.
What's in the case?
So you would hear it the way you understand.
Maybe it is filmed in
Perhaps you would like to see
neo-modern Chinese in the 26th century, but they ran it through a translation matrix before beaming it back to our television sets in the 80s, so we think it's English, but it's not.
Could be, man. Could be.
This was a great episode too, so they flashed to the weird insect in the back of the neck episode.
The parasite one?
Yeah.
Conspiracy?
It was supposed to be the Borg, but they decided they took a course change on the Borg of instead of insects they wanted it to be machines. And I'm sure they had a lot of fun filming.
Beverly, get in there.
Like, the price is wrong, Riker.
You lose.
Tell him what he's lost. Beautiful brand new shuttle. The dinette set.
You don't get the shuttle, you get the pod.
Gotta love those high kicks.
Well-placed table crash.
One of my favorite kid fights I ever saw, I used to do before and after school care, it was this kid that was just being kind of a snot and wouldn't do what he was supposed to do. So this littler kid comes up to him and literally high kicks him right between the eyes.
What?
Yep.
Oh my goodness.
Shut him down immediately. Like walks up to him and goes, "Hey!" It just kicked him right between the eyes. I'm like, what in the world? And he goes, "Yeah, my foot
They
slipped."
must be producing a
It sure did.
Your foot
But it
slipped.
literally got the other kid completely under control because he was so shocked.
Yes. I can believe that.
Yeah.
It's like King of the Hill. Just when you're surprised that a one-legged man kicked you,
Yep.
he'd bite you.
Yeah. Yeah. Again, it's one of those things that like it works. It works fine among kids. I could not have done that to solve the problem. I did not have a problem with a kid doing that completely unprompted.
Or I couldn't see you physically roundhouse kicking somebody.
No, well, it wasn't a roundhouse kick. He didn't spin. He literally kicked his foot up to right between the guy's eye.
So, we have a proclamation from the doctor saying he will die in a half an hour.
I've discovered a way to reverse.
Makes me wonder how much is left in the episode.
But I made it
Yeah.
Wonderful,
Feels like we've been here for a minute, doesn't it?
wonderful television time compression.
Extremely irregular, but we can't delay any longer.
So they're gonna do something because otherwise there's problems with Riker.
We're going to do this
problems that we can't.
We're going to do this by the medieval method.
Yeah, problems.
I.e., reach right in the hole and rip it out.
Take us to our planet.
Oh, it's the Miami Vice drugs episode.
Drugs.
Hey, we saw Beverly again.
Kirk's son is really digging this episode.
He really is. You know, Deep Space Nine killed Will Robinson in the Battle of the Air or whatever.
I forgot Bill Mooney was in that.
Yeah.
Will give us a shot. But we must.
He looks super surprised right there.
That's how Maurice Hurley, or Ira Stephen Bear, and Bill Mooney would work together again, making a sequel to the Twilight Zone episode.
That'd be pretty good.
Not very good.
Oh, they went back to the first clip that they showed. Blue whips.
You know what they say about the Ferengi? Blue whips sink ships.
Blue whips. Yeah, I guess. Here's our Marauder series. That's a good. I bet you they're really good at bowling.
Yeah.
But the way they fire those whips, it's like a perfect 7-10 split.
I think they changed Armis's voice for this flashback.
Maybe. How cool would it be if, when Will gets sucked into the Armistice black goo, they had something similar to Cisco flashback, where he's kind of, you just see him there in this black nothingness, and he's kind of bombarded by all these evil thoughts, and he has to make out what are his and what are Armis's.
So what this is, what they used for this, was black pictures ink.
Yes.
That's a mask, not a human face.
No? That's
a mask of a human face.
Yeah.
Fine.
Oh, guys, we need to reshoot that. There was a bubble in the surface.
Down to 7%. The organisms are
He's
still
not sad
impaired
enough.
functions.
You guys are doing it
Respiration's
wrong.
erratic, pulse grossly irregular, blood pressure almost nil. Try cortisone.
It's like a tricorder, but with the Z on
Tighten the
it.
pattern further.
Tricordazine.
If you'll excuse me, I have to get to Fantastic Sam's and get this haircut fixed.
So she doesn't get fired. And gets to stay out for season 3.
Recognize Picard. Jean-Luc, Captain.
Oh, come on, this can't be
Recognize
intense.
Riker.
Blowing up the
Brigand
ship is
Commander.
more intense than getting sucked into a black pit of goo.
As the first
Again, they
officer-
just grabbed stuff willy-nilly and stuck it in here.
Set auto-destruct
So
sequence.
maybe they
Now.
just took a whole bunch of film and threw it down a flight of stairs, and the ones that landed closest to them, they said, okay, we'll use this footage in that order.
Look at that cute little
Of
digital
course.
clock.
We'll
Yeah.
handle the formalities later. Right now, we have to get
It's
off
another
this ship.
good
Are there any other
episode.
survivors?
That was our first Klingon episode.
I believe I have found a quicker way out of here, sir. Check him out.
I'm just gonna tear open the hull and fly back to the Enterprise.
He is alive, sir. but
Data,
just
stop
barely.
forgetting
Pick
that
up the
humans
body
and
let's get out of
Klingons
here.
need to
Go.
breathe.
You don't have to say out of all the episodes they picked, they did pick good ones.
Come on, let's go!
Yeah.
Sasha, go to transporter room 3. I want you there when you're waiting.
I'm glad she's still standing there when he asks her to go.
Well, he didn't get to tell her why he wanted her there. Like, that's odd. Why would Riker remember Picard telling Tasha where to go?
Oh my gosh!
That's cute.
Not an accurate memory at
Too much
all.
interference. You have to get farther away from the engineering section.
Sir, the engineering section is critical. Destruction of the battery
Now he
system.
could be hearing it over the intercom.
Do it! Now!
Remember the time we almost died when I was too close to the engine room? At first I thought it was because I ate too much food at the Golden
Only
Corral.
O'Brien were there.
Yeah.
Oh, Golden Corral.
You know, they just opened one of those down my house.
Oh, man.
We got one of those up north, too.
Yep, in Marysville. This is how bad the clip show is, folks. We're talking about an all-you-can-eat buffet. Maybe that'll wake up Riker. Riker, we're talking
The
about
growth rate's almost down to
buffet.
0.
That's not good enough.
I want to eat my mass in Jell-O, but not my weight.
Is that possible?
Yeah.
I bet
As
you.
much Jell-O as your body occupies in space would weigh considerably less than you.
Oh, did you see that? They ripped off the Genesis footage there. They had a.
They do a lot of recycling. So anytime in the Next Generation they showed Federation headquarters and Starfleet, if you look real closely, they're wearing the original series movie uniforms with people walking around.
I believe it. All the great action scenes and explosions and the cutscenes. Wow, we've blown up a lot of ships in the last 2 years.
I like how she has to use a microscope. It wouldn't just show it on a screen, zoom in, you know.
Well, they even tried to do the Spock thing where they flashed a light in her face. If you look close, it's red. So, I was wrong. Love didn't conquer all. The
medical
beauty
science
killed the beast.
Yeah. So as all the negative emotions got Riker out of this mess.
So now, Commander, I'm just gonna lift up your big toenail and scrape the residual right out.
Wow.
Sick bay to bridge.
Feed it to Data's cat.
We've eradicated the infection.
I'm on my way.
Well, actually, Pulaski, you've done absolutely nothing.
Commander, I could kiss you.
Instead, here's your transfer orders.
How funny would it be if he woke up really angry and delusional, not knowing where he was? That would be a little bit more realistic.
Who touched my hair?
You're still here.
I could ask you the same question.
How do you feel?
I feel like a cheeseburger.
If I knew what bucks were, I'd say I felt like 1,000,000 of them.
Oh, yes, we would.
You'll be pleased to hear that we've terminated the infection.
Terminated?
Great work, Doctor.
Why can't they say just cure?
I'd like to get out of here. I'd like to get back to...
Lie still.
I love how he's got these pinhead marks.
Yeah.
I feel fine.
On his skull.
There may be some residual.
I can't believe
memory
it took
loss.
2 days to
I just
film
want to
all
be
this.
certain that you
That's what I
still
don't
know
understand.
who you are.
2 days in the sick bay alone to film
Of
this
course
scene.
I know who I am. I'm Captain Jean Picard of the
On the
USS
USS Enterprise.
I'm delighted that you're feeling better, Captain. The Admiral and I will work.
Oh, Data, he's so
I
confused.
do not believe you have the authority to promote me to the rank of Admiral.
Dun, 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 dun.
Oh,
It's like you
And
just survived a harrowing thing, so I'm giving you that one. Everybody gets just one. Now you've used it.
And goodbye, Dr. Pulaski.
never to be seen
Spread your
again.
wings and fly.
I don't even know what to say about this. What?
Well, that was season 2.
It was fun.
Do we like season 2 more than we like season 1?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, when I looked at all the clips, I could definitely tell the difference between the seasons and the character development between those seasons. I can say with a straight face that it wasn't a bad run.
No.
And from now, season 3, Star Trek will now step into its late adolescence and actually start to grow a beard. Well,
And yeah, we will see you this summer, over the rest of the summer, over at Two True Freaks for shore leave.
ooh, yeah, that's right. Hopefully we'll be able to get some great shows in there. I know that we're warming up the DeLorean to record Back to the Future 2.
Indeed we are.
Or is that the one with the horses?
No, that's Back to the Future 3.
Oh,
Next year.
I thought that was reruns of Mr. Ed. Okay.
Horse is a horse.
You know, we never did get that episode a rating. How many clip reels would you give that episode?
Half.
Half
a clip reel. No resolution for Dr. Pulaski. Doesn't really tell us anything about any of the characters. That Data joke at the end is kind of cute. I mean, Data was the guy in this episode, really.
Yeah, he
Around
was.
the vine. And
Data saved the day. And he was in a lot of those clips. Yeah, I'd have to agree with you. Half is a pretty good score because it was a big distraction. We don't have budget for an episode. We're getting rid of one of our main characters. Don't worry about that. Let's look at this 3-minute flashback of ship explosions. It was eye candy. It was also good tour de force. If you've never seen the show and you don't mind a clip show, it would be kind of intriguing. You could spin it as saying, well, this is advertisement to get people to watch the other episodes. But before the era of binge watching and on-demand television, that might have actually been a fun episode to watch.
yeah.
But today, I mean, I can watch any of those episodes.
Truth.
What about you, Matt?
Yeah, I'll give it a half to. That was just easily forgettable. It's clearly they were contractually obligated to make X number of episodes, and the hardest working person on that was the film editor.
Yeah, because
he wasn't working too hard either.
No.
Splicing all that together.
We'll visit with you on short leave, and I guess we'll see you in season 3.
Yeah, and have a good day.
Next time on Star Trek: The Next Generation.
Controls are not responding, sir.
Something evil is threatening the Enterprise.
Nitrogen oxide, toxic levels.
Lives are in danger.
We're heading straight into the path of that stellar matter.
Disaster is dead ahead.
Prepare for impact.
On Star Trek: The Next Generation.
Why am I interviewing you guys?
So you're the guest.
So Sasha, what is Star Trek?
Hi,
Next Generation?
I'm the guest. So Sasha, what is Star Trek Next Generation?
Seek us out at Next Generation's First Generation at iTunes, Google Play, and YouTube. Music credits include Electric Car by Poddington Bear, Broke for Free, As Colorful as Ever, Glass Android by Lee Rosevere, Wireless by Lee Rosevere, Audio Engineering by Sascha Schaudies, Chief Meme Maker and episode cover credit goes to Matthew Kirschner. Logo and graphic art design credit goes to David Clawwitter. And special thanks to Patrick Delmore for working with other podcasts to make sure the good word gets out.
Do you have a podcast that you think people should be listening to? Send us your promos and we'll play them on the show. If you'd like to email the show, you can email us at nextgenfirstgenpod@gmail.com. I've been Patrick Delmore.
And this is Sascha Schaudies. Thank you very much for listening and have a wonderful day.
Good night.